Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I took this old dated laminate countertop and gave it a look and feel of real stone. So please stick around to see how I did it. So the first thing that I'm doing is I am giving it obviously a really good clean. You want to use something that is going to scuff the surface a little bit so that your material is going to adhere well to the surface. So, you could use 200 grit sandpaper, or in this case, I'm using TSP, which will give it a little bit of a scratch coat on the top. Then I am taping around the porcelain sink. I did not want to have to remove it, so I'm just taping it up to try to prevent getting any of the material onto the porcelain that I would just have to scrape off later. I'm using a product called Valpaint Meteore. It is a very thick product. Could compare it to something like a micro cement. I'm troweling it on all over the countertop, giving it its first coat, which is a relatively thin coat. And I just want to completely cover the entire surface with the thin first layer of this product. Now everything will be in the comments section below, but most of the stuff you are able to get directly from my store at fullydecorated.com. I do also have a brick and mortar here in Central Florida where you could shop in person or online, and I am also a commission artist available to do this type of work for you, decorative painting for accent walls, feature walls, in your home, furniture refinishing, and other things. You can check out my portfolio on my page at ravendesigns.com. And that is my personal portfolio, separate from my my store website, which is at fullydecorated.com. So please don't forget to check them both out. Okay, so now I've let this dry for about 4 or 5 hours, and because it's just a skim coat, it was pretty dry already. So now I'm giving its first sand to just get rid of all the peaks in it, and wiping it off to get rid of the dust, and just making sure that my corners and my edges are good. Then I'm applying my second coat, a little bit thicker, so that I can really get the texture in that I want. Just applying it all over, making sure everything is completely covered, the sides, the edges, because this is a 2-coat process. So again, just getting all of that in there, and then as soon as I have this fully applied, you're going to see how I'm going to apply the texture. And for those small, tight, hard to reach places, I'm just using a much smaller hand trowel, even my finger in some areas, just to get into all those little nooks and crannies and crevices, just to make sure that it's completely covered. If you have not already done so, it would be a really great time now to hit the like and subscribe button. I would appreciate it very much. It would help me towards my goal of not continuing to be a starving artist forever. Thank you. So please go ahead and show me some love. Okay, so now I'm using a turf tool to just dab across the surface while it's still wet, to give it that texture that I'm looking for. I'm doing it sort of randomly. I don't want to cover the entire countertop with patterns, only in certain areas. So just keep applying it and dabbing it until you kind of achieve the look that you're going for. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to let this dry completely overnight, and then the next morning, now it's the next morning, I am giving a really good sand to get it relatively smooth. I don't want to remove all the texture that I just put in it, but I am sanding it down. And this is my inspector here, came to check it out. So just continuing to sand and get everything just sort of smooth, so that obviously it's a countertop, you don't want it super rough, Just giving it a nice finish so you can see where I've added the texture here in certain areas. So just giving you a little bit of a close-up there so that you can see what I've done. Next inspector came in to check out the new countertop. So good thing this was all dry at this time. Now everybody is locked back outside. So I'm going to start with the glazing process. So I mixed up my own custom glazes here using a copper, champagne, a gold, and a gunmetal glaze. I can do another video on how to mix your own glazes another time. And so now I'm just applying the glazes to the countertop. Again, more or less in random areas. You just want to do it until you're sort of happy with the look that you're trying to achieve. So I think I started with the copper in this case, which was really one of the darker ones. And again, I'm just applying it all over, brushing it in, rubbing it off, just using different techniques. So I'm applying it with a damp sponge. And using a chip brush just to sort of get it into those little nooks and crannies, because if you remember all the texture, it's got those divots in there, so I'm just making sure that my darker color is really down into those areas. So pushing it in with that sponge and just making sure that it's in all those areas that I want it to be. Then I moved on to the other colors, the gold, the silver. I didn't use quite as much of the silver or the gunmetal, because the gunmetal was pretty dark, so I only used that a little bit, pretty lightly in some areas, but again, just enough to sort of give it that real stone look to it. And again, just keep going until you're happy. If you're not happy with something, just keep going. You just got to trust this process until you achieve the look that you want. I really wasn't sure at first because this base color that I put on was really so light cream, and I really was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this. But once I applied the glazes, I was pretty happy with the way that it turned out. So you can see there, now it's starting to come to life with some color. And like I said, again, just keep going until you're happy with it. Okay, so in terms of the glazes that I mixed up for my own custom mix, I used Urban Metal Paint, one of my favorite metallic paint brands, and with my own custom mix. And if you'd like to see that video on how to mix your own glazes using metallic paint or just really any paint, please leave a comment below. I'm happy to share that information with you. And any of the other products that I'm using to create this video will all be in the description below. This is just part one of a series on this complete bathroom makeover, so please be sure you check out the other videos on how I gave this old dated bathroom a totally new look. Okay, so one other thing that I wanted to share, actually the very first thing I did with this bathroom is I did the walls, and unfortunately I don't know what happened to that video footage. I somehow don't seem to have it anymore, but what I used on the walls is a product called Cover It. It's a Trady, it's a one-step paint. You might have seen some other videos that I've used this. Really love this stuff. It is a real nice textured finish that I put on the wall. So that was the very first thing I did in this video. And then the next thing is these countertops, the backsplash, then painting the cabinet, and up next is going to be the bathroom floor and the toilet. They're going to get a total makeover too. Okay, so I will also leave all the product information on the walls and what I did that with in the description below. And you will be able to find other videos on my channel where I've used the Trady one step. So if you want to see how I did that, just look for some other videos that has the Cover It Trady one step on it, because I did my studio with that as well. So I'm just really continuing to blend the colors, layer the colors, the glazes, until I'm getting that look that I'm going for. And I just kept adding and adding and blending with the champagne and the coppers and the gunmetal. And at the end, what I did was I just applied the gold, because it was one of the lightest colors. I applied that all over the top of everything in sort of a thin layer, and just, put it on and then rubbed it down, rubbed it off, wiped it away. to get the look that I wanted. And so you can see here, this is the finished look. So the darker colors are right down in those crevices. Really love how this turned out with all these blended glazes in it. Doesn't really look metallic, but you know, looks pretty, you know, to me it looks like a nice, elegant, neutral finish. Love how it turned out. So if you want to try this out, really wasn't that difficult. And the next thing that the next video that I'm going to have is going to be on the backsplash and how I did the backsplash. So please check out my next video in this series of 4 on what I did with the backsplash. Hope you love it. Please like, share, do all those YouTube things, you know, leave a comment below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Really helps me so that I can continue to bring you more cool videos like this. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.